that I'm an introvert. Everybody thinks that I'm this performer and musician and in front of folks, singing and acting and teaching, but I'm really an introvert. But I love teaching, and I love children, and I love the arts, and I love people more than I love my introversion. So therefore, I get out and do stuff. Children have not learned yet that they can't or shouldn't sing, unless at a very early age they've been discouraged. And that's one thing I'm finding out as a teacher, as long as I've been teaching, that children come to you excited about music, making music. Adults have a more difficult time because they're afraid of being embarrassed or being made that they're not good enough. Children don't have that fear unless they've been taught. My goodness, that's the funny thing about living and being born in Harrison. I did want to get out of Harrison so much when I graduated high school. But that was not what came about, and at first I thought I was just going to hate being an adult in Harrison. But I gotta tell you, I have grown to love being an adult here in this small town, and love the idiosyncrasies and the people and the quirks and the beauty and the joy of it. But where would I live if I didn't live here? I love New York City for the arts. I love the beach. Gosh, that's a hard question. I don't know. That's like asking me who my favorite child is or what my favorite food is. It's whatever I'm singing at the time. It's whoever I'm with at the time. I only have one daughter, so she's my favorite. But yeah, that's hard. I love all kinds of music. Everything, except rap. I'm not crazy about rap.
My family's dogs, you mean Pandora and Prometheus?
Yes, ma'am.
They were St. Bernards. I gave Pandora to Bill for Christmas one year because he mentioned he loved St. Bernards, and that's where it came from, Pandora, and then she had a litter, and we kept Prometheus out of the litter. So they were wonderful dogs. We just loved them, but not everybody in town loved them. But everybody in town. Carolyn and Dusty Savells were at Hudson's one afternoon shopping, and all of a sudden Pandora came in the door. She waited till somebody opened the door, and in Hudson she went. Well, nobody saw her but Dusty. Dusty thought, uh-oh. She went right directly to the meat counter, and she dived in, started to get the meat, and Dusty, being long-legged, he was able to get there and catch her just in time. He got her collar, grabbed her back, and took her out of the store. Otherwise, the meat department would have been demolished. I guess when I got married, everybody was very nice to me. My sister got married before me, 2 sisters, Doris and Catherine, and everybody was very nice to them. So after I got married, I thought, well, it's time to pay back. Turnabout's fair play. So I started having the showers or the baby showers, wedding showers or baby showers, for people who had been nice to my family. And my sister, Catherine, passed away May 11th last year. The obituary came out in the paper, and when I read it, I honestly, really and truly had lied so long about my own age that I was shocked at how old I was. And I told my children, I said, I can't be that old. And they laughed and said, well, if Aunt Kaki's that old, you're that old because you're her twin sister. So that's the first time I'd recognized or given in to the fact that I was much older than 37 or 29. I had a good friend and neighbor, Only Harrison, and she and I both claimed to be 29 until we were way up in years.
Well, I was active in the Extension Homemakers Club, and I was very active in church, First Christian, and I was pianist for about off and on 60 years there, and taught a Sunday school class all that time. Let's see, was I 16 or 18 when I started? I taught all 8 grades first for about 4 years. Bryan District and Maple Grove District. I didn't really find it hard. I had good students and they cooperated and had very little trouble with me. Luther Manley Cars. My sister and her husband were with us, and we were out. We took a walk for some reason around town, you know, and on the corner there at the old bank building, he proposed. And I said, well, now I don't know about that. I got to think about it. And he said I better think fast because he wasn't going to ask me again. We went to the movies, and we hung out at a cafe that all the young people hung out at. We did a little dancing, went to school dances and things like that. One time we were dancing at a alumni banquet dance, and we decided to go home on account of our son, you know, and my nephew that we were keeping raising was clerk. Or deputy clerk, I've forgotten what, deputy, I guess. Deputy. And we got married about midnight, I think, at the Methodist parsonage by the Methodist pastor. June 14th, 1938, I believe. Well, they approved, I think. Daddy said he wished I'd have let him marry us. He was the justice of the peace. And they were up when we went home to tell him, because he's getting worried about me, you know. It's about midnight, I think.
Years ago, this July, my daughter and her family was in a very horrific car accident. And the outpouring of generosity and love that this community showed our family was just inspiring. We had all kinds of people that we didn't even know in this community who came out and helped support us and our family. And after that, I decided that I was going to try to do something to give back to the community. And I had been in dentistry for 30, 40 years, and I love dentistry. And when the Rotary Dental Clinic approached me about working here as a volunteer, I was just ecstatic. I knew it was an answer to a prayer. And so I came and I worked here for a couple weeks, and I just loved it. And I've been here ever since. Now it's been about 10 years now. And this is my way of giving back to the community that gave so much to me and my family. It's a nonprofit. The Rotary Club here in Harrison, they help pay for it. All the equipment in here is given to us. It's donated. All of our supplies are donated. And the building is owned by the city, and they let us rent it from them very cheaply, thank you. And so it's everything is I think that it would be a blessing to them, that you get so much more out of it than what you put into it. Well, usually I notice whether or not they have a lot of crowns or if they're going to look at their teeth first. Even when my granddaughter brings her boyfriend over to see us the first time, I always look at his teeth first. And they always will go, he passed the test because he has nice teeth. So. Oh, I would have to say my husband at the time, right now, because he is such a man of integrity and honesty, and he's just the love of my life. I'm sorry, Dwayne, don't roll your eye. Just that, I love working at the dental clinic. I love our community. I think we have some wonderful, wonderful people who work throughout the community and volunteer. And anybody who would like to volunteer, come call me. I'll be glad to put you to work.
For a while I thought I wanted to be an elementary teacher, and then I went and substituted, and I figured out that I'm really not cut out for elementary age students, but basketball is what I've always known and always done, so you know, that's been my first love, and it's been very enjoyable, and seeing the girls grow up and graduate and get married and have their own children. I was at College of the Ozarks a few years ago. We went into an elementary and worked with some kids, and it really made all of the student athletes feel really good. Made me feel really good, and the kids were excited. So that kind of got the bug started. And then when I came here, Jim Stockton asked me if I would be getting the team out into the community. And of course I said, yes, I will do everything I can to get them out there. And it's definitely taken on a little larger meaning than just once a year. So we're definitely proud of what we do in the community, and seeing the faces of the people who we serve definitely makes you feel good when you're done. Working with elderly or working with young people, it's an independent living. We've worked with elderly at Maplewood Esplanade. We play bingo. We go into several of the elementary schools and read and do recess. We're getting ready to do a field day, so we do a lot of things with kids and elderly, and share and care. We help there with gifts at Christmas time. So we work here with our PBL organization and do Hope Tree and buy presents for disadvantaged children. So we do several things that definitely we hope gives back to the community. I went to high school at Pea Ridge, Arkansas. And then I went on to play at a community college, Crowder Community College, and then went on to finish my 4-year degree at College of the Ozarks. Okay. Well, I just feel like there's a little more awareness about women in athletics, which is a great thing. Title IX helped with that in the 70s. So I think people are getting more interested in women's athletics, and definitely showing that we can get out in the community and do things to help our community is definitely a benefit to get people interested in what we're doing. To be independent, to be responsible, and to work very hard. Anything that you put your mind to, you can definitely do. Get in the community and help others, and that's what we're here to do, is to serve others. This is great. This is a blessing, and I'm very honored to be chosen, and makes me want to go out and definitely do more for our community.
No, we moved here in 1969, but it feels like home because all 3 of the children graduated from school here. Well, we have Mike has two girls, and Patty has 2 boys, and then Patty has Ramsey's children, Brian and Shauna. No, it was started about 1900, so it's 100 years old, the book club is. Now, I'm not quite that, the library, I was appointed to the library board 4 or 5 times for 5-year terms, and then one time I was reappointed before the 5 years ran out. So I was down there about 20, close to 20 years working with the county judge on the library board, trying to get a millage raised and get a building suitable to hold all our good books. My family's been my main focus, and my church is very important to me. They all are active in the community, which pleases me so much. And I'm following in their footsteps by doing that. I didn't have to work when we moved up here, so I was a stay-at-home mom the whole time. And I loved going to carpool and picking up extra kids and all that. Well, we play games and we play trivia a lot, and that's fun. And I get to see my family because I'm fortunate to have them nearby. Some of the residents don't have anyone, and my kids just pop in and out, and I'll gloat a little bit every now and then. Thank you very much. I feel honored.
At Pruitt, every summer that's where we went to swim. And the first time I met him, I was only in the 9th grade, and he thought I was older than what I was, and I couldn't date guys that were out of school. So then afterwards, well, we used to come to Jasper on the weekends, the girls that I went to church with, and run around, and we met up again. So he asked me out. And started off the relationship. Been married for 44 years in September. So. My husband, Johnny Martin, he's from Mount Judy, and he was in the sawmill business. And they had moved from Mount Judy to Deer, and that's where they were living. And so that's where I ended up living. After my kids kind of got grown, I stayed home for the first 10 years or more, and we decided we needed a little more income. At that time, the sawmill business we were having a real difficult time right then. You couldn't sell anything, so I decided to go back to school and finish up my education. And first I got a job working at the bank at Clarksville, and then I had got a call about this job opening and saying, we think you might be interested in that. So when I came and went to the interview, it was my dear friend, Kay. And I went to school with her, and she said, you would be the perfect fit for that job. So I've been here ever since. So I love it. I love the job. They are such a joy. You're blessed to live to be old. And so everybody's got a story. And I just love listening to them, listening to them talk. And they've been through whatever you've been through, so they can give you lots of advice. And I just enjoy it. I volunteer at the nursing home, and I've been there for quite a while, and was involved with getting the new home, because it's not new now, it's been there for over 10 years, but we were really, really blessed to get that, and I've enjoyed that because, that's seniors' futures,
I am the Deputy Director of the agency, and I also supervise the in-home services program. We actually try to keep people out of the nursing home. We keep them at home by providing services for them in order to enable them to stay home. We don't do any skilled care, but we do personal care, housekeeping, laundry. We prepare meals for them just to let them keep their independence at home instead of having to go somewhere to a nursing home or go live with a family member. So that's basically what we do. Interestingly enough, You know, when we first started, we were doing a lot of our meals programs, you know, for seniors that would come to the senior centers. But now they're promoting wellness, health and wellness. So a lot of our senior centers are now licensed as a health and wellness center. They offer exercise programs, they offer all sorts of activities, because what we're seeing are the people that are growing older now, they don't care about some of the things that the older ones used to. So we're having to adapt those services to the seniors of today, because they want to do the exercise programs. They want to have things going on at the senior centers that they can participate in. I used to know every senior center. I used to know all the clients, but lately I've gotten so busy I haven't had time to do that. But yes, one of my favorite things was going into all the senior centers because I knew all the cooks there. So they were constantly cooking bread, cornbread, all these good foods that I'd go by and say hello to and have a piece of bread. When Lloyd Kennedy was executive director of our agency, which was probably in the early 80s, one thing, he loved England, loved English tea, so we would have tea parties. Every Thursday, we would have toward the end of the week, we would have a tea party. And it was the staff's, the staff's responsibility to bring the little crumpets with the tea. And we had china, we had the tea party, so it was just a neat thing. We're not able to do that anymore because we have too much to do, too many programs to operate. So that was kind of early on when we first started the program. But all of us really enjoyed Lloyd's tea parties.
I was on the front counter, and that day that was my very first job at McDonald's, and I've been here ever since. And I was going to college at the same time at North Arkansas Community College, and I remember the first thing, we had a bus that day, and they said, "Oh, here, you make an ice cream cone," and I started making the ice cream cone, and it got a little big, and it got bigger and bigger, and the machine wouldn't go off, and it was just fun. It's just fun experiences like that make it so much fun. And my little McDonald's family, I love everybody here. It's just, we have a lot of fun. I graduated at Bergman, and I graduated in 1980. And I played basketball there, and it's a great community. Bergman's, we love Bergman. And then I live in Harrison, and I have two sons. Jonathan, he is 24, and Jordan is 17, and he's a junior at Harrison High School. And we've been here most of our life, and it's great to know everybody here, and have that. It's been a great community. I'm very involved in the community, and I love Harrison. I'm involved at the school district with the Harrison High School PTA. I will be senior breakfast chairman next year, and also project graduation chairman, which I'm really excited about. Also, I'm the Harrison Convention Visitors Bureau chairman, and I love that. It's so much fun to be involved in all the different things that we do to help everybody in the community, and it's such a great experience. I love it. And also, working with everybody at the Convention Visitors Bureau, we're just like one big vice president of Beta Epsilon. I do all the training of the new girls coming in, and I just love having that first experience with them and training them what goes down for our children in the area, and we just have a great time being involved. And that's why I like being involved in all the different things that I do, because you get to be a part of the community, and I get to be, I love to welcome people and shake hands and go to business after hours, and being involved in the chamber. I'm one of the ambassadors, and I received Ambassador of the Year, which I was so excited about that. I was really excited. And
oh my gosh, that was back when Colin, who just turned 30 last week, was a baby, and there was a groups that came to town, a couple of ladies who had moved from somewhere else, I believe, and they put out an informational flyer or something, and a bunch of us showed up at the country club, and we talked about it and thought Harrison needed something like that. I mean, we really didn't have, I had been in junior league in Minneapolis, but then we had moved. And I thought it would have been a great idea, and everybody else did too, and it was amazing what that seminal group of women started. And I mean, we took off within a month. We were doing a fashion show to raise money. We were doing, we threw it together, and we did charity balls, and I think it was the second or third one, my last year, had said I would finance chair and chair the charity ball for the next coming year. And about 2 months after that, I found out I was pregnant with Evan, and everyone was like, oh, you don't have to do it. And I was like, why not? I mean, it'd keep me from thinking about getting fat, so I thought I'll go ahead and do it. And it turned out to be wonderful, and we raised, close to $30 or a little over $30,000 that year. I mean, our charity balls were great, and it's still going on today, and they do a lot of great work for kids, and I think it's been, Junior Auxiliary has been a vital part of Harrison, I think, for the last 30 years. Oh gosh, that was one of the most fun volunteer things I ever did in my life. I had been teaching at the college part-time English, and there was a group with Bill Skinner and Dr. Bodson. We all kind of had a little corner office back there, and that's where everybody came to tell jokes and drink coffee. And I got pregnant with another child, and it was just, it just didn't seem like I was going to be able to want to keep teaching. And so they said, well, why don't you run for the college board? And I was, I thought about it a minute, and I said, well, I think that might be an interesting idea. That way I could stay involved and not have to be there every day and teaching and stuff. And 18 years later, I finally left, but it was wonderful to be involved with, building the libraries and the John Paul Hammerschmidt, and just seeing the college grow and expand and get new programs. And that was one of my favorite things I've ever done.